evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this Monday's edition of National Matters. And the lines will be opened at some point. You can call us, you can text, you can Zoom. I want you to know that Zambia is a great nation and we were born for greatness. I want this nation to believe that we can make it and we will make it. I am so privileged in the studio to have for my guest Mr. Elias Mpondela, whom I've known for so many years. Welcome, Mr. Mpondela.
Thank you.
How is the family?
Well, we are all fine. We survived, and all of us are injected.
You got the injection?
There's AstraZeneca vaccine, so there's some security and safety.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We got some injections as well. We got vaccinated at that time. So tabla pokayo.
It's good to have you here.
Thank you.
If you can, Mr. Mpondela, we are a family, a very big family here in Zambia and in the diaspora. Right now, we are live in the West Indies, where Pastor Franco, with a very big television network, captures Kamuna TV. The West Indies, they're watching us. Around the world, they are watching us. But like I said, we are a family.
Thank you.
If you may look in that camera and tell the nation, who is Mr. Elias Mpondela? I know that you've got a rich TV background and all this, but who is Mr. Mpondela? Are you married or not, so that I can float your number to the...
No, I'm taken.
Tell the nation, who is Mr. Mpondela?
I am not available.
You are not available?
No, I'm taken.
Look in that camera, Mr. Mpondela.
I'm not available, and I have five children, and one passed on, but we still count her as alive, because we believe that the source of the faithful departed still rests with God, and she died when she was 2. She got burnt in the house, and we all believe in the family. And my firstborn, Chipampe, is in the U.S. She's now a mother of 2 boys. And my secondborn, that was studying in Malaysia, is back here and is married to Philip Ganda. It was last year. My thirdborn, Sula, was studying in China, is back, and he went to study in Germany. He's back, he's here with me. And Soilanji, the athlete, with the last born, the 5th, is doing extremely well. Over the other weekend, she was running at the World Relays, and in the past weekend also, she was running here, and we did extremely well. So I'm a family man, I'm taken, and I have 4 children as well.
That's good. Who is your wife?
She's Leah.
Who is?
Leah.
Leah
Yes.
Mpondela. Okay. Mr. Mpondela, your name is not new in Zambia. Could you run through the nation where you started school, what you have achieved, and up to where we are?
Well, I was born on January 30, 1958 in Kawe village, about 1,200 kilometers away from here.
In Kawe?
Kawe. Along the shores of Lake Tanganyika. That's where I was born. I went to school at Chisanza Government School, and from there I started admiring becoming a priest. So at that stage I went to Mpulungu, Stella Maris Parish, and sought an endorsement that I could become like you, but in the other side, a priest. And so I was sent to the Lubushi Seminary, where I studied from Form 1 up to 5, and from there, 79 December, I went to national service in Kasama. Then fortunately I was selected to go to the university. I did tell the priests that I was not thinking that I could make a good priest, that I was leaning to the other side than to this side. So I was allowed to choose what I wanted, and so I got an acceptance to the University of Zambia, where I studied economics and business administration. In 1984, I came out of the University of Zambia and got a job here in Lusaka as at Zambia National Clearing and Forwarding Company. Mr. Friday Njogu, those who know him, is one in whose hands I was placed straight from the university. I worked there, and eventually I got a job for Mazembe at Mazembe Tractor Company, which was a Chibote group of companies. And
Mazembe, the one
which was in Kitwe. It's Balowe now, but it was but I was stationed in Kitwe, so I left Lusaka and went to Kitwe, and from Kitwe I got a job. Mr. Temba there, Gilbert Temba, I always mention these people because of the impact they have had in my life.
Absolutely.
And then I came back to Lusaka after 1 year, 6 months, and also becoming the best salesman. I still have the letter they wrote to me. I sold underground equipment. I went underground in Mfulira. I went on the open pit as an economist. I still sold, and I was the best salesman of 1988 on underground equipment and also the Valmet tractors. I was in the plantation in Ndola. I went to Mukushi to sell those Valmet tractors, and I sold trucks, Scania trucks. So I did some good job there. So I got a job back here. I think they were headhunting for someone to join Mutende to be responsible for the regional companies. And I came for interview, and Mr. Siame, Musa Siame, who again took me. I will explain about these people and why they mean so much to me. And Mr. Siame appointed me sort of the regional director, and eventually I became the group general manager, marketing and sales in the Mutende group. And later on, I was promoted to an executive assistant to Mr. Siame, the group executive chairman. After that, Duli Motors was bought, and I was asked to go and head Duli Motors. So I went to Duli Motors. It was a countrywide, Livingstone, Ndola, Kitwe, and of course Lusaka had 7 divisions. I was the youngest general manager at the time. And from there, my dear friend,
you remember that's when
we met.
When you were
1993, 1992, 93.
That's right.
That's when you came.
Yeah.
Henry Chibutu, our friend.
That's right.
So it has been long. That is 92, 93. That's when I met you. And I think we discussed a bit of many other things that we'll talk about later.
That's right.
So I think from there I got a job at, I left Mutende Group. And one thing remarkable really well there is that I did so well at Duli's, and think many people remember the advert I put up there, and the Toyota wanted to employ me. And they offered double the salary. And I went to Mr. Siame, can I move? Then he said, well, young man, here is a family. Here you know my wife, you know my children, you are an executive assistant. I'm giving you that title, you continue with it. So you can choose. Here, if I wrong you, you can call my wife. And so, would you like to leave? Then I said, well, maybe I would stay. And that's how I stayed. And he rewarded me when leaving. Eventually, when we decided we must part company, I think he was very generous. He gave me a Mercedes. He gave me a house, Jesmundin, which I still own now. So patience pays. Money sometimes can be a bit of a difficulty. So that's when I left for Astro Holdings. And I became group marketing executive, the 8 Motors, the Sonata guys, those guys, the Elantras. And they sold a bit, and I worked again briefly at Modern Press printing company with my good friend, may his soul rest in peace, Mr. Promise Shinondo, who taught me a lot of things. He taught me, young man, you must have a brush in the car. Young man, you must always have 2 handkerchiefs. One is for the mucus, and the other one is for the cleaning of the face, which I've continued with. So
you have had good mentors in your life, eh?
So I let alone Paul Tembo asked me, man, have you seen the people building roads in Kitwe? I said, no. He said, there's a company called Phoenix. Maybe you should try. So I think I followed the instruction of Paul. I called another Paul, who later became my best friend. And the day he was dying, he asked his wife in Denmark, can you call Elias and tell him that I'm dying? The day he was dying.
My goodness.
And they sent me email, but it went the wrong place, and he passed on. And he mentored me again. He gave me...
He was a white man?
A white man, yeah. We talked, and he said, but you're an economist. How can you do engineering? I said, well, give it to me. Even where I'm coming from, the motor company, the sales of the equipment underground, all these are engineering equipment. And they said, but we have greatest road. Can you get it for us? I failed to get it. But effort applied made him get convinced that he must give me a small, short contract. Eventually, given a longer contract, and eventually we stimulated road construction in the country. We gave meaning, we gave value to roads, and I'm glad that many of those roads are still there. And many people can remember that because of quality of roads and also the method, the hot mix, the way we were, constructing roads. I think the former late President Chiluba, my very good friend, I just miss him. And I called all of us to go and have tea at State House, all the workers. And some people thought maybe he had interest in the company. No. He was interested in the quality of work. He was interested in, a Zambian, in me stimulating road construction to that level. And I enjoyed life at Phoenix. The owners came here, they found that I had promoted the company beyond the measure. And they said, no, you got to be an expatriate. I live here. They said, yeah, we'll give you the condition of an expatriate. That's how I got the conditions of my boss. My boss said, no, you will be front runner. And so some people can be good. So really, that's how I went into that Phoenix, and many people, just like Adulis, remember my impeccable record there of quality roads, Phoenix for better roads. And the rest is history. But I'm just happy. And my friend Festum Sonda, who is on the copper belt in Dola, must also be happy that the two of us were the front runners among the blacks in that company, drove the company to the levels where it was quality work. It had to be quality work. We sold at very high price. We beat other South Africans that came here. And thanks to government at that time, they believed in quality, because our offer was, you will only start repairing 15 years later. And we have lived to see some of those roads. It's just that we are widening, that some of our roads have been submerged into, what looks like very weak roads. If you go to Rwanshampongwe, new construction. Tabombeki, it was under my leadership. Or the PHI, where I live now, all of that compound, it was new construction. The company I used to work for, and Paul had introduced to me in that company, Paul Tembo. So really, that's the way I moved. And from there, Dulis, from Phoenix Contractors, went into my own private. We established the Suilanji Gardens with the mother of all my children, Judy. We worked together well and started Judith Nakamba. We did all of that business there in the waterlogged. Everybody feared.
Where is that?
It's just in Kalundu, where President Kaunda stayed when he was...
Oh, that place.
That water dump.
There is even some place for weddings.
That is Suilanji Gardens.
Oh, that is
the brand. Our little girl that is running. That was the brand. But her mother is Suilanji, so we gave it to me. Because Suilanji means, trust me in me, O God. So the name absolutely stimulating. And so we went wild into the country, lodge. So again, we created, we led in lodge, creating lodges and gardening and all that. So that has been my life, and eventually I've been, you know, associating with some Chinese companies, the CJI, and then eventually, while I was still in those area there, President Banda called for me and said, look, I've seen the way you've done road construction. Can you help me build houses? I said, yes, I can. I said, I can. So that's how I was appointed the managing director, CEO of National Housing Authority, where the story tells that even across there's a new village. They are called the Ibex Hill Gardens. That's my starting assignment when I got together with, at the time, MKP, National Housing Development Agency. There is my friend, Mr. Yazidi Mezuku, an Algerian, lives in Malaysia, is here, and we worked so well together. And we established the Northgate Gardens, which is Chipata. The idea was we took that land and wanted to give it a limelight so that all the neighboring compounds can begin to think of affordable housing. Affordable housing in the habitat definition is a house that has got a sewer system, it has got piped water, it has everything that you need so that the sanitation of the people is maintained. So we created several
roads. Are those the houses which are near SOS?
Yes, all of them.
All those. You were behind that?
I'm behind that. Behind lessening land from my fellow cadres, because at the time, which is another story that I have, I was chairman of the Central. At the beginning, I was chairman of Lusaka Central. And therefore, I was quite influential in the political arrangement. So we took over that land and negotiated with NAPSA, and they paid, and we constructed those houses. I entered into another deal with the China Jiangsu International, what we call CJI, who I still cooperate with now, and we created. Then during the same time of being at National Housing Authority, I was appointed the youngest, or elected the youngest chairperson of the Shelter Freak. Shelter Freak is in Nairobi. Is a border corporate created for affordable housing in Africa. Although it has moved now, it takes on the commercial building that was. I became the chairman of the board, addressing 54 heads of state. I was so happy. One day we were in Kigali, and I was standing in front addressing them. I said, oh, this is good. So again, I got a loan, 6.8 million, you know, revolving, to create. People in the drive there, they see Kadula, and on the other side again they see Kadura. All those were under the loan that I secured. I was securing these loans, Pastor, at a very difficult time. Our cash flow was bad, but I was sometimes managing. God has gifted me with a bit of, is it eloquence? I'm not sure, but a bit of persuasion and skill.
Not just eloquence, but that also comes with a lot of skill.
Yeah, so, and just like at Dulles, one of the things that I can boast of having done there is we competed with the Pilatus and Astro, who later became my employers, Astro Holdings. I had a very shaky cash flow, was negative working capital for Dulles Motors, but I defeated both of them with a very heavy cash flow using the infrastructure, the existing condition. That's where I learned that, in fact, no situation is disadvantaged. It's the person that leading the situation who disadvantages himself and disadvantages the situation. So I think the rest...
You know, somebody has said what you just said, what you learned from Dulles, that you can work with nothing and still create something.
Yes.
Somebody has said that leaders, visionary leaders, they always see something in every crisis.
Well, crisis is an opportunity. Just like COVID-19, it appears like a disruption. Yes, it is a very disruptive, but for those who are aware, those who are moving in the awareness, they seize the opportunity and begin to see how can we, in the situation we are, survive. Because God created us to be always happy. And he also gave us the ingenuities and also the Holy Spirit in us that continues to guide how we should navigate any given situation. So even this COVID looks extremely negative, but those countries that are awake and are aware will use all the lessons learned here to emerge even stronger than they started. Apart from the innovations that we see, that you know, like you can see those pictures we are looking at there, the technological advancement and all these virtual meetings, the Zoom and all this. In there's a lot of thinking. And I think that's how God created us to be, thinkers, always looking for solutions. So in Dooley's, I saw opportunity. First of all, it was the only company that has an engine analyzer. And I took advantage of that and created some advert around it. In Phoenix, I found them parking to go. I saw that they had done a road from Chingola to Kapiri. They had not finished. I saw the quality. I said, well, this is what I took. And I started advertising on that. At NHA, I found the company was also limping, limping and absolutely overburdened, not attractive at all. And I entered in there. Again, I used what I found to build on what could see Dooley Motors. I think people saw a lot of movement at Dooley Motors, and at NHA. And I'm glad that I was living, having constructed together with MKP, NHA MKP Housing Development, and the ingenuities of my dear brother, who is very, very close to me up to now. He's a brother, Yazidi Mezuku, his Mezuku family that are here, that we built more than 1,000 housing units without government involvement. We never went to them. We created the partnerships. I went and got a loan and put a collateral, which eventually, you know, worked well. And so I think for me, my life has been incredibly exciting. I've been put in very awkward position, which was Dooley's. Mr. Siame said, go there. And then I find UNIP there. Then I had to wash Dooley's to be accepted by MMD. And because of my connection in MMD, again, I sold more vehicles than they ever done before.
In fact, I wanted to ask you, wasn't Dooley Motors UNIP?
It was UNIP, but Mr. Siame Mutende International bought 45% shares, and they signed a management contract. And I was asked, can you go there? I said, maybe I can. Then Mr. Siame said, why are you saying maybe? I said, well, I've never run a company. He said, but you've been with me here. So you mean you haven't learned and you are my special assistant? I said, let me go. I discussed with Max. Joe was in America. These friends of mine. Max says, you can do it. So I said, sir, I can do it. And the record speaks for itself. And so that's my life. So while I do this, I have something I've forgotten. My friend Jonathan came and said, athletics in the country is not good at all.
Jonathan who?
Chipalo, who apparently in the virtual world fights me. He's been fighting me for, he's my young brother and we love each other. Whenever we meet, but he brought me in. But again, he has been fighting me. But my God said, no, this is the one I chose. So that's how they came to me and asked me, can you be the chairman of Lusaka Athletics? And I said, but me, I was running cross country back in Lubusha Seminary. I've never run competitive. What are you inviting for? Jonathan said, no, the way you've cleaned up Dooley's, the way you've stimulated the country, I think you can make it. Jonathan, very good thinking. And so after some thinking, I consulted home, we agreed. That's how I entered into athletics as chairman of the Lusaka province. So again there I did miracles. Then again I went as the vice chairman of ZA. Then I became president of ZA. Then I've been president for a little while. So that's how it is. I didn't jump in. I entered through an invitation and I performed well. So I think that has been my life in the country here. I've done great things, and this running, I had to innovate. I found they are running. Then no money. They couldn't promote anything. Samuel Matete had gone to America because he was quite good, and so America got him. And that's where in 1996 he got a silver medal in Olympic Games. 1998 he got a gold medal in 400 hurdles in the World Championships. Then here in 19 I had to say, how will I make a difference? And that's how I started the intercompany relay. my friend Max, Dr. Msongole, you interviewed here, and my dearest Joseph Salasini. Joe and I had gone to visit Max in Cape Town, and in the early morning I was thinking, what can I do to better athletics in the country? And that's how, like a dream, that I can organize something like this. And when I shared during a breakfast, they all said it could work. Came back here, the rest is history. So in 1999, I asked Professor Nkanduluo, who is my very good friend, my sister, and who's the incoming, whose elevation has just cheered the whole fraternity of athletics, because we call her a mother of intercompany relay, the mother of ICR, because she accepted when things didn't look clear to be part of my journey. And we've journeyed together to promote intercompany relay, which has now become a brand, a national brand. A national brand. The president runs it. Before he became president, he ran twice. And we are happy he has elevated the profile of that event. Today, running and walking is a lifestyle in the country. I'm glad I've been part of that transformation of creating this country into a running and walking country. And I'm glad that the incoming Vice President, Professor Nkanduluo, has journeyed with me. She did not refuse to become a master of ceremony. And she has never refused to offer the house there for us to do some planning there. When she became too politically engaged, we still, you know, she still offered services, and we've worked together for a long time with her. From 1999, she's worked with me, and we've worked together. And I hope even as she becomes the vice president, we will work together. She will not cease to be the mother of the intercompany, because that's become a brand and a household name. But along the way, also, 1995, I formed the Katondo branch as the Katondo branch, right in town, to capture the attention of the people that are working. At that time, then I joined MMD. And I founded that and became the chairman of that branch. And I insisted, and it became a polling station. And today, I don't think people have history. Today it's a polling station. And eventually I was elevated as vice chair of Lusaka Central, where my dear sister, Margaret Manakatwe, is currently, until they remove them, a member of parliament. And I hear she's still been chosen to run. It was my constituent. The Baulen people know me very well. I'm their darling. And I was for 10 years. And in 2005, I decided I must stand as vice president of the party. So I went to the late President Manawasa. He told, rest in peace. I said, can I be your vice? He said, yes, you can be. I said, well, so I'm fighting. So I went to our dear brother, the vice president, and I said, we are both Catholics. Eh? We pray at St. Ignatius. Can I challenge you? He said, how can you do challenge? We are in his office there at the Cabinet House. Now I'm challenging you. I went back. The rest is history. I organized. I brought to every member, and I stood. Captain Chewe, myself, Mr. Chiti, and others. I think the three of us remained. I think 2 days before the event, we were told they are suspending. They have frozen the position of the vice president. That's 2005. Okay, then I had to re-engineer my thoughts and change it to run as information, MCC, information, publicity and information. And when I was about to win, I think Dr. Balianga remembers this. After 5 provinces had voted, they said, no, the name of the former Minister of Local Government, Honorable, he was powerful from Northwestern Province. I've forgotten. But they said, that, well, the story is that I lost by 24. On that day, I became very despondent about the politics being dirty. I said, but how could it be that after I was winning, the government said no names were, so I sort of left it. And I sort of, but still remained working to ensure that every government was doing well. And that's how the Phoenix Roads and all these things were part of my agenda to work hard. I seized every opportunity to do good, because that's my my personal philosophy. Do good. Seize an opportunity and do good. And always do good, because it's this goodness that multiplies and sends, messages to everybody, those that are seeing and those that are not seeing, okay, that something is happening. And in 2016, an opportunity came. They said there'd be executive mayor. I said, well, I would like to transform Lusaka. I transformed Duli Motors. I've transformed athletics. I transformed National Housing Authority. I transformed more things that I got involved in. I said, no, I can, with the exposure, having traveled almost to every city of the world, I said, no, I can transform. And having gone to Dubai several times and admiring from sand to Burj Khalifa and to everything, I said, I can do it. So I stood. But along the way, they said it was not executive. But even then, those who wanted to support me, they withdrew. But I stood, and we were 8, 4, all of us were from the independent, including Fisher Male, and 4 were from political parties, and at that time it was really the mighty parties, UPND and PF. And so those of us were there, Kankungwe, we were blown up by Kankungwe. But what came out is that I beat UNIP, I beat FDD, and beat 2 other people. So I came number 4. From the 8. So I was happy with what I did, and let it go, because for me it's not about how it must be me. For me, it's, the motivation was to go and serve, and therefore I retreated to serve where I am in athletics. I don't get paid, by the way. It's just the rendering service and creating opportunity for the young people, and so I retreated, and that's how I am now. The elections were coming here. I said, no, I am not available. I will stay away. So that's Elias Mpondela from the politics. Oh, by the way, I've said something very interesting. Kopulande Sebastian, Honorable, we formed the Zambia-China Business and Friendship Association. We're the first ones to take people to China. First, courageously. And we've exposed more than 2,000 people. Many of these who are doing well were riding on the entry that we opened. We became, and we are still the only agent of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, China, and our names are there, and we represent the Canton Fair. And so at the trade level again, giving opportunity and getting people to get out of the and go and look for inexpensive but quality equipment. Dr. Kopulande, Honorable Kopulande, my friend, we did it and brought, and today I've again started something else. I'm president of Zambia, Algeria, Business and Friendship Association, all seeking to expose people to economic opportunities. This has been my life.
That is very elaborate. As a matter of fact, if we were to follow what you had written, what I know about you would take another 2 hours. And I know you are sitting on some boards, right?
Yes. I'm sitting on a number of boards. Again, I would like to thank God that at an early age, I exposed to a number of boards. I was board member and chair of Finance and Marketing Committee of ZNBC. I was part to the levy, the levy we pay.
Yes.
The layman's bill,
yeah,
and the tax. I was part of that innovation. I was part of the innovation of separating the programs and marketing and making them distinct. I was party to buying the 19% additional shares together with Mr. Salasino, who is my best friend. We worked hard to re-engineer the thinking and get things done. And I've sat on ERB board, and I was chairman of finance and administration. I've sat on Times of Zambia. I've sat on the MIRA, National MIRA here as a governor. And I talked about Shelter Afrique in my area. Shelter Afrique is a continental body, and I became chairman of that as a young man.
Of Zambia?
Yeah, of the entire Shelter Afrique, for all the countries. And I then, very quickly today, SOS, thanks to my good friend Charlotte Rumpa, she invited me there, and a couple of us, and eventually I was a treasurer, and I became chairman of Finance and Audit Committee, and now I am chairman SOS Zambia.
After she passed on?
Charity Rumpa is...
oh, you mean Charity
Rumpa, my dear friend. She invited me to be part. And I'm also chair of TMS Hospital. So I'm in medical. I'm chair of Mpulungu Harbour Corporation. And the thinking there at Mpulungu is Mpulungu beyond the, activation of Mpulungu beyond the harbour.
Mr. Mpondera, let me interrupt, because I know my viewers are hearing from you about this elaborate, rich background for the first time. I know some other media television stations would not allow Mr. Mpondera to just go through for 25 minutes. Give you the background. I have cut that short because I'm now thinking, you transformed Duli Motors, and that time, those of us who had vehicles, you could not avoid but go to Duli Motors.
Get some parts.
You brought in some new vehicles. Yeah. Duli Motors was the main thing at that time. You transformed NHA. You transformed this, that. I wanted to ask, are there people in Zambia, when I say people, of caliber, who can work with the government? They may not be in government, but be on this side to transform Zambia?
Well, I think there could be. And I think maybe there could be.
You are one of them. But I'm saying your friends, your clique, and other people.
Yeah, my clique, this is what we have this public good, belief. We believe in public good. We believe in service. My team, all of them, this is the way we think, and that our giftedness must be put at the disposal of the community. Our giftedness and the talents that we have must be applied in such a way that the greater glory of God is made manifest through us. We believe, that's group belief now. Joe, myself, Dr. Msongole, you are interviewing here, Dr. Clement Mugala, the Salasini is commonly known as Joe, Martin Kalungubanda, Sebastian Koplande. This clique, plus many others, Vitalis, Dr. Chifwepa, this clique here, because of our option for the poor, which we learned from the university, we came out focused on service. And we believe that beyond what we feed the families, that becomes ordinary. Extraordinary is to walk out and go and do good without being paid. And they are there. And I wish all of us with that kind of mindset were being sought to go and do bigger things. I wish there was this kind of thing that is in Dubai, in Singapore, even in America, when they identify some mindsets that are so, structured in a way that what they touch becomes energy, and energy based into action, we could probably have been saving at a high level. But my strong belief is that everywhere you are, lead, and lead to the glory of God.
Absolutely. Another question, Mr. Mpondera. Do you, as an individual, do you, as with the clique of your friends, do you engage government in your personal capacity to say, Dr. Chagwa, I think in this area we would like to bring in our skill and work with you? Do you engage the government?
Yes, I think we do. Some of us are very forceful. We sent our friend, Dr. Sebastian Koplande, go and be in Parliament. I think he did extremely well there. When he stood to argue, I think people listened. We were sending Joe Salasini. Unfortunately, he was not picked for the second time in Senga Hill. So we go and they sent me to be vice president of the country at that time. And it couldn't work. They sent me to be, the mayor to transform, so that we use this group power to transform things, because we believe whenever one or two go, we all rally around that particular person. And I can also share that The former president-elect of FDD, late Christon Tembo.
Christon Tembo. Yeah.
When I realized the potential of the tourism in this country, which was being spoken about all the time, but potential, I went to him. I said, sir, could you appoint me one year? I'll go and ask Mr. Siame to release me to activate tourism in Zambia beyond what you people talk about. I also went to President Banda. I think he might be listening. I said, can I make the airport a hub? I can make that airport a hub of Africa, Southern and Central Africa possibly. My fight was I can, because of 8 countries surrounding us. So I have even made personal journeys. Apart from the journeys going to stand as vice president, as the mayor, and Joe as the, we have undertaken those journeys of faith that probably the things we've done can persuade these people to appoint us. And some of us have never shunned to continue doing good, even when we are not appreciated. Because like when I say health in this country, it's not easy when everybody is shouting at me, why are you stopping the vehicles? Today we have marathons, today we have running clubs, today we have everybody interested to have, today we have the president of this Republic of Zambia. So, and as you said,
it has become
exactly.
a force to reckon
and today we have athletes that have benefited. We have now in people qualifying for Olympic Games. So, have we offered? Yes, we have. Have we been seen? Yes, because even National Housing Authority was a government institution. Even Mulungushi, which I transformed, the government institution. Even my friend Salasin, the ZMBC, government institution. All of us have gone and done something. If you go to NAPSA, Clement Mugala, you go to NPF, you go to Zamtel.
Who is Mugala?
Dr. Clement Mugala is another of our group.
Is the MD there?
No, it's not there. Because you asked me originally the clique, our clique. Because in our clique, there are so many of us there. And we always do the question of, have you tried? Yes, we try. We even look for jobs. We even go and say, can you give us this one? This transformation that we've done, if our mindsets were captured, our ingenuities, the way we do things, the way we transform, our culture of hard work and accountability, the way we believe in greater outcomes for the greater good, if that was captured, we could probably have contributed. Contributed, that's the word, because you can only make a contribution to the greater good of our country. So we've made effort.
As an economist, you alluded to the fact that every crisis, it has some blessings. As an economist, do you see Zambia's economy bouncing back to a better place than it is now, or you have resigned to say this is out of control?
When you resign, you die.
When you resign,
no country must resign, no people must resign. But I think an opportunity that is created here is to be sincere with ourselves. Ask ourselves tough questions. What has gone wrong? Really, what has gone wrong for all these years? One, we made mistakes on the mind. We became mono. We praised how we were working in ZCCM. We ignored to recapitalize those things, and eventually we saw them at a song. We learned the hard way, and we got that 20% golden share. We saw those things, and it's because we were not managing properly. Our grandfather and the father of this country, President Kaunda, may his health continue to beam so that we continue to draw. Even when we speak about his name, we remember the great things that he did. Those people were thinking well. They made mistakes, but they were thinking well too. And so this economy then goes high, and we sell, and then eventually we quickly, in my party, I was MMD, my party quickly, what was that buzzword? Privatization. We privatized even things that needed no privatization, because we are retaking over the same things that we quickly, at a glance, thought they were bad, and we are now seeing ourselves involved in KCM, in Mopani, and so do we see the economy bouncing back? Yes, it can bounce back, but not with the same thinking that we had yesterday. If the bouncing back of the price of copper cannot tell us a story when the kwacha is running at 22 kwacha to $1, and yet the price of copper is 10, if that has no story to us, then we'll never recover. If we know that if the copper that we are producing, again we can ask in what quantity, but we know we are producing, it's 10,000, all time rise of the price.
Are there people who can verify what we are producing and the value of it? Zambians?
We have a lot of Zambians who are educated, but we all become, I don't know, something happens to us Zambians that ceases to make us accountable to our own selves and accountable to the country that we want to serve. Something does happen to us Zambians, the educated, the uneducated. Something just happens. I don't know what it is. And when we look back, we say maybe Dr. Kaunda and his team did better than we've done. So if copper is gone up to 10,000 and the exchange rate here still continues to be 24.5 or rising, then it means there's something wrong. The inadequacy of the dollar is still there. The scarcity is there. So this is because transactions are taking place elsewhere, and money is banked elsewhere, and only very little is coming here too. And this has been our bigger problem. And we've talked about it, and we don't seem to find a solution. But also the rebounding of the economy, because the strength of an economy is measured by the strength of its exchange rate. Yes, we can argue that in all Africa, the rate is, let's not argue that way, because we were together with Singapore in 1964 at the same GDP. GDP was the same. Singapore doesn't have the resources that we have. We have more resources. Singapore is now the model country. Dubai, when I started going there in 1998, 2003, you go and see Dubai, the Burj Khalifa. It was sand all over. Now, no country, especially a country like Zambia, endowed with a lot of, natural resources. The water body is 45% within the southern region, and probably a higher percentage also in Africa. The agriculture, the arable land, and we are only 18. We were few numbers, and so we have everything that it takes. Maybe the problem is with us, the way we think, the way we've structured.
When you say the way we think, are you saying us Zambians or the leaders?
No, I think it's all of us, because I think that development takes place at different levels. Sometimes it's a few people. If you go to Dubai, you'll find that my friend, the model reader there, Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid El Mekatoum, is one guy, of course born from a family that knows how to make money, has changed there. If you go to Malaysia, it's one guy. If you go to Singapore, it's one guy. Okay, these are leaders again. Maybe this is the question you're asking me. These are leaders that came and led, and they're supported. But I think the biggest problem probably has been, how do we as a country want to take ourselves to the higher levels? Do we pay attention to leadership? Is it something that we value? Do we go to look? You asked me a question, your team. I enumerated, it's not only me, we are about 10 in the group. None of us is inside anywhere. But we've all been fighting, but succeeding. If you go at the, you came to see me at Matanga village.
Yes, yes.
That's Salasine, eh? So, what has he done there? What did you see? What did you used to see there?
Wonderful building.
I talked about Suwilanji Gardens. What was it? Dambo, waterlogged, practical equivalent, a beautiful place. Even now, it's a beautiful place. So, all of us in the team have had the capacity, but we have no access. So, is it leaders, all of us? I say all of us. Because if we all desire development, then we must put pressure on our leaders to do certain things that are correct. We must.
How do you put pressure on our
One is to join, and you get rejected, like we continue to join. But the one is to make our leaders accountable to the promises they make, and also to insist that how can we allow ourselves to be in this kind of poverty levels. We know we've tried, we've done a lot of things. I think let's give it to them. There is a lot of infrastructure development. There are a lot of roads that have opened up to opportunities elsewhere where we never thought there were opportunities. But maybe we need to restructure ourselves differently and begin to explore how we can make meaning to the natural resources God has given us. The resources are not only natural, only water, only land. I'm sure we'll talk about your conference later.
Of course.
This is not only about that. The resource is the human capital.
Before you go to that, Mr. Mpondera, I think, please shed more light. I'll bring you to this, what I want to say, on the nation. Shed more light, because my wife is a firm believer. She always says the wealth of the nation is its people.
Yes.
When you have people with brains, when you have people who can move the economy, the country can be rich.
Yes.
What would you say about the human capital you want to say?
The greatest asset any country can have is human capital. Do we even have inventory of the human capital that we have here that has succeeded in doing things? Success favors the prepared mind.
Say that again.
Success
I like that.
favors the prepared mind. Some of us have been prepared. We've been put into the heat, like gold. When you get gold, the emeralds, refined and purified. And you are there just in the sun. And we are only a benefit to ourselves and our families. That is ordinary. If I'm only greater to my family, and it's ordinary. We are waiting to be exploded so that we can go and explode at the national level. Are we captured? The answer is no. There are so many Zambians here.
Mr. Mpondera, you and I, like I said, dear Cabinet TV viewers, we come a long way. During the Chiluvas, my wife proposed and said, Mpondera nishita mufailo kuba president. What have you done about it? And
what I did when we discussed, when this I can say it publicly here, and I think my loving couple, Mr. Sakala, is hearing me. When they proposed Mr. Mwanawasa, may he so rest in peace, who later appointed me, although the position he gave to me never came to pass. I also told Richard, I said, could you tell President Chiluba that I can be president also, to run? I realized he was not telling him. I undertook
Richard
a
Sakala.
Yeah, I went there myself because I was having a very good relationship because of the performance of Phoenix. Because President Chiluba wanted good roads. He would have been happier with what he has seen right now. So I went there, sat in the Oval Office. I said, can I be the one, not Levi Mwanawasa? Can I be the one? This is a fact. And may the soul of both Mwanawasa and Chiluba rest in peace. He told me, young man, I know you're smart, but my MMD is rotten. I want a disciplinarian, and Levy can do it better than you can. Then I said, but sir, on this chair I'll sit. Even 2 weeks before Chiluba died, he was calling me my President Vamwenso. Because the same way my sister says. So, really, what have I done? It's from that I said, well, it's not only the presidents at that level, but I wanted to. That's why I went to stand as Vice President, 2005. That's why I wanted to become a mayor. That's why I attempted at one time to stand as a member of parliament here in Lusaka Central when I was chairman of Lusaka Central constituents. So I've done all I could, and in that side, and I said, well, maybe this is not my forte. Maybe in all these little things that God has given to me, let me concentrate, let me serve. And I said I wanted to be president. I'm president of ZA. I'm president of Zambia, Algeria, Business and Friendship. I'm the vice president of Zambia, China. So really,
here, Mr. Mpondera, we're talking about something. Look at how President Lungu and the team, the PF, have tried to push the economy, doing this and that. This is what I believe. 25 cabinet ministers. The 25 brains are not enough for this nation. This is my thinking. Even if there were 200 cabinet ministers, they are not enough. Because of the 200 cabinet ministers, you may not have the idea that I can have. Which idea can turn the nation around?
Yes.
This is why I'm saying, where are the Pondelas around the world? And those of you listening to us who are in the diaspora, you are supposed to be contributing to the growth of this nation.
Yeah. Pastor, you are making a very good point. God created you to do something that the other cannot do. And God created each one of us and gave us certain talents that were not distributed to the other in the same format or in the same measure. That's why we hear of the parable 5, 1, and 2. Some bearing and some exchanging. And so, this uniqueness that we have, when assembled in such a way that is consciously done, you need to know where you're going. It's not just assembling people. No, you got to consciously assemble people for a certain specific purpose. You need to know the distinctive talents and competences that different people have. You need to measure them. Do they have what we call integrative mindset? Integrative mindset is you thrive on the tension of opposing ideas in order to generate new ideas for a greater good of a country, for a greater outcome. Are you doing that? And this is where we've missed. We think that everybody can do everything else that everybody can do. We've removed the uniqueness, including the parable of the 5, those. We've removed all that and think that everybody can do everything. It's not possible. If you go to Dubai, to my friend, Sheikh Mohammed Al Maktoum, you find he's got what they call a strategic office. There are these great thinkers that are sitting there. When I told you that I would become president, when I went to President Chiluba, I told him that I want to build a center of excellence. You know, Kafua Road, that hill, there is a quarry here, the hill behind. I said, he laughed a lot. I said, I want to build there. These people will be sitting there just thinking of alternative solutions. We got to get people that can provide and offer alternative solutions for this country. Each issue, including the KCM, must be thought about by this intelligent group made up of several people of different, intellectual persuasion, intellectual ingenuity, to guide the country. Because that's why Jesus did not just pick anybody. He went and looked in the boat, he found the 2 brothers, said, these can do. Because I think their father, Zebedee, is a good guy. He might do. He goes around to pick a couple of these young people, some of them not intelligent, including those he perceived could be crooks like Judas Iscariot. He included them in the team and assembled a bastion of energy. That he said, guys, before I leave, I want to recruit another 72. Send them.
But the 12 changed the nation.
The 12 changed the nation.
The 72 and others.
In every system that is working, there's a group of not young people. There's a group of wise people, intellectually endowed, but some of them existential wisdom that they apply in the dark room. The picture goes in the dark room to be cleaned, and then we see the picture. There must be a dark room in every country. And in many countries, they are what they call the countries like Zambia, to be Zambia Academy of Sciences. This group of people, they test everything you say in that engine room to see its efficacy to the nation. And because in economics we say everything is connected to everything else. Whatever action you're taking, that group measures. But also, what we've seen in those countries where people have really worked is a singleness of purpose. That people become to believe in the purpose of mission, and they know that it's not about the sameness of persons, but the sameness of the vision and the purpose for which the country rallied behind to make lives of their people better. And they all rally around there. But it doesn't work automatically. There are people think the same way that Kaunda created a bureau for political study. And you remember there? In order to continue generating and having different ideas. This country requires that. I know there's economic something, there is this something. Do we care about them? What role do they play to the development of our country? Do we have a Zambia Academy of Sciences? Yes, Dr. Professor Yamba, my friend, is a president. I don't know if he's still a president. Do we pay attention to that? For instance here, LAS is more popular than the Economic Association of Zambia. Sometimes we are mixing. Are you Economic Association of Zambia or you are Political Association of Zambia? Are you know, all those things we've created. Yeah. If you want to be respected, you got to produce something that requires respect. So I think the failure to harness these critical groupings, the strategic offices that we create to assist the decision maker, those 25 you talked about, has been a drawback also for most African countries, even our own country here.
This is why, Mr. Mpondela, you know, I'm very passionate in this nation. I'm now turning 61, 62 shortly, and I'm looking how fast the years are coming. When I look at way back, when our parents would pick us from nothingness, you are a toddler, they pull you and say, Diabade fundana wikarati karap. Vamonana yode chape for mama miracle.
Yes.
Because they know this boy.
Yes.
He was born for greatness.
Yes.
Every person who sits here, Mr. Mpondela, I ask them a question. How are we going to mobilize the brains of Zambia? Be able to bring the president, the cabinet, and sit there without political tension, without political, I don't know. Because we need the UPND, we need the PF, we need the NAREP, we need all these brains from there. Let's come and talk about this. I have an example. Your friend you are talking about Dubai. I've never been to Dubai. But my children from this church, they went to Dubai. And the story they brought me, and one day I'm sitting on Emirates flight, I tuned to Dubai, the story of Dubai, and I started reading the magazine, exactly what they narrated. The king there called all these people, economists, whatever, put them in one hotel and said, guys, what Dubai would you like to see 75 years from now? Would you design a Dubai, including architects? They had to go through it. When they brought a blueprint, I am told they said begin building. Since 75 years from now, I won't be there. I want to see the Dubai. Look at the development of Dubai. And I'm told in 1974, Zambia was ahead of Dubai economically. There was just sand. But today, it's a force to reckon with. When Bill Clinton won the elections, he called certain people, assembled, Republicans, Democrats, put them together, and he said, how do you think we are going to fix this economy? And those people came up with ideas, irrespective of which party they belong to. It is in history. Bill Clinton went in as a baby boom president. You see how he turned the economy. Now here in Zambia, what has happened? What will we do, Mr. Mpondela, to come up with something?
First of all, no country is disadvantaged by its geographical location. No country is disadvantaged by its geographical location. If that disadvantage was existing, Dubai shouldn't be. Singapore shouldn't be. Probably even China with a bigger population shouldn't be. The disadvantage is in the mind here.
In the brain.
It's in here. How we have come to know ourselves, in the awareness of what it is we can do together. In the unity of purpose, in the strength that lives in unity. If we agree that what makes what is comes from here, it's our thoughts. Man is a lord of his thoughts. Man is a lord and master of his thoughts. The things we think about create a reality.
And that's what Jesus
the
said,
way we are trained,
as you think,
yes,
so are you.
It makes. The way we are trained to think, and if we think and feed our minds with rotten ideas, if we put weed, it will be weed that will come there. It will be flowers, it will be and we all know, when you plant flowers, they will come. So here, we need to pluck out this disadvantaged position and admiration of other people, when in fact, we do have exactly what they have. One of the young Zambians is at NASA. He's a Zambian here. In this discovery of the vaccine, he was involved. We have a Chibale in Cape Town. It's one of the young, scientists that is sitting there on microbiology and all these things. Is Zambian. We don't even know how to call those that we've heard. Self-interest has become the order of the day. We have ceased to be authentic. We've lost the truth in ourselves. We've lost kindness in us. We have lost just authenticity. And our selfishness begins to ride over what a greater good could be. Why should we continue with that? Because even as we all go to church, John chapter 10 verse 10, I have come so that you may have life and have it abundantly. Who is going to do? Jesus will come here? Jesus is you, pastor. Look at what you're doing. Jesus is me. Jesus is everyone that is listening to me, is in me, and the Spirit for us who are believers. But even those Muslims, Muhammad has foretold what they can do to activate wherever they are to change. So really, good questions. Why are we what we are? Why, our leaders, should we continue to be so divided? Why must we not see the greater good of what Zambia can be? Why should we continue to sing a song of disunity? And why, when in fact, there is more that can unite us? What can unite is the economy. Everybody must be scared of destroying the economy. Because when you're destroying the economy, you are destroying the people. You are destroying the lives of the people. I think this authenticity, when we all reclaim the authenticity, that God, when He created you, He gave in you something that He wanted you to go and multiply. The goodness in you. If God is love, you are love. If God created me in His own image, then I'm God. I'm a last God, Pondela. The first one is a last God in Pondela. Then in that godness, that godliness that I have certain talents, certain exploits that must be applied for the people of the country. This is not just talk. Because as I speak to you, I'm a manifestation of the thing that I've done in my own private life. So they have succeeded. In all these accolades you are giving me, you succeeded here. It's because we apply. So I think that we need to come back to the table. Our leaders, galvanize us. Let us be one. Let's unite on a mission and purpose other than on political agendas. Not all of us will become presidents. No. Not all of us will become ministers. But some of us will become small presidents with a small p, imza, but doing good. And we can only do that when we get back to authenticity. When Christianity, which is part of our constitution here, becomes embedded in our minds, in our hearts, and then transmuted into action, that the things we do carry love in them. We love. And so what we are going to do is because we love. This country, everybody will be coming here. This country can easily become a center of excellence for education. It can easily become a center for tourism and all these exciting things in the Lake Tanganyika. You see, here you concentrate on this place here. There is Livingstone and another one here. Kariba. Small things. Now you've just discovered Samfya. But if you go to Mpulungu, you'll be marveled. And that's why, thanks to the authorities for appointing me chair of Mpulungu Harbour, it's activation of Mpulungu beyond the harbour. But when you go to Mpulungu, it's like, it looks like it's Doha. It also looks like Jumeirah within Dubai. And when I see that and I say, how can't we mobilize to do greater things there? And also, as we look to the leaders, we individuals that are appointed, we disappoint the leaders. Why do we accept jobs that we know we can do? Why do we go there and accept, and then for the leaders, why don't you monitor what?
My view is this, Mr. Mpondela. Sorry to say this, I'm an open book to this nation. Because even some of the aspiring candidates who are going into parliament, some of them, not everyone, they don't even know why they are going there. All they are going there for is that title, honorable, for the Prado, but they have nothing that can contribute to move to this nation to another level. Because I say this, Mr. Mpondela, I'm not young, I've served under all these 5 presidents on a personal level. That president, Mr. Lungu, he can be assisted. You float ideas, but the problem is that sometimes, I've always said this, even the people around him, when you go there, you want to float something, they feel like you are negotiating for a post, which is indeed a shame. But I believe with all my heart that we must come together. I don't know how. My wife and I have just believed that we'll use this small platform to move the people and open their minds.
Yeah.
Because Mr. Mpondela, the friend here, Mr. Lee, he told me how they changed. He's not so much older than me. He told me how they changed South Korea from what it was to where it was, and the initiative they had put there. Now, when you look at Zambia, we have all the natural resources. Mr. Mpondela, you are an economist. In terms of natural resources, Zambia is richer than Sweden. It is richer than Britain. It is richer. We have been there. You have been there. When I look at what they have and I come back to Zambia, why are we where we are?
Yeah, so maybe it just goes to confirm no country is disadvantaged by its geographical location. The disadvantage is in the dementia of the mind, in what is nourished in the mind to discharge, and also our failure to monitor what we want. Because you see, you have said, can't we go to President Lungu, I want to speak to you? Again, the barriers that are created around our leaders, it's not good enough. And some of us who are shy, I'm not shy. When you call, you want to speak with President Lungu, others will sit here, then you are stifled because you are scared that when you walk out, they might attack you. I mean, I remember the one thing that I will never forget, at intercompany leader at Independence Stadium, when President Lungu agreed to be part of it. He's a running person. And how we were harassed because we were getting closer. Now, that kind of threatening, you threaten me, maybe I would like to speak to the president, maybe I'm offering an idea. We are not heard, even those of us who are succeeding outside. If we make appointments, we don't know whether they reach them. They don't reach them. So our voices end at where we are. In those countries, if you go to Dubai, my friend, you know, the prince there, if you go there, each month they generate 20,000 ideas. And there are people analyzing those ideas to see which ones can work in which area. That's how Dubai has fast-tracked its development, is the expansion of thought and allowing people to contribute. That's what my friend there, I met his son and I met his brother. I just wanted to shake hands with them and see whether I can take part of their charm so that I can bring it here and shake hands with the President Lungu, and probably I could be invited to State House. You see, we've created barriers. The same barriers we create physically to meeting our leaders is the same barriers we've created in our own minds. And when it comes then to activate ourselves on things, we find the interest rates are higher. We find so many barriers within the economy that cannot allow Mpondela to excel. So we begin to die to our own selves with our ideas. How open is a country? to receiving new ideas. You talked about people standing and all that. Yes, many of them have money. And again, money has become so, those who have money. I gauge myself, can I go? Do I have money? I don't have money. I can go. So those of us with no money shall not access leadership, shall not be in parliament, and yet is in parliament, where activation of intellectual capability must be applied as we discuss great ideas. We create laws there. We create things that make the country. You know, you've seen in America when they say senator, you know, the congresswoman, you see the intellectual part of who they are and the way they argue. Some of them are not necessarily intelligent. But they have young people around them who are doing research, because again, research is critical to the survival of any nation. Some of them, because they are using statistics. Again, statistics is important. How important do we consider the statistics office there that we have there? Who do we appoint?
This is why.
So really, it's a mixture of many things that we need. Can they be done? They can. Is Zambia ready to take off like Dubai? Yes. Is Zambia ready to take off like Singapore, like Malaysia? Yes, we are. Do we have the people? Yes, we do. They are here, right here. And our appeal to our leaders is, look out. Don't just stay in. Look out and see others that may not have access to the money and stand as members of parliament. Appoint them. People like me and many friends that have to appoint us to come and help build the economy.
And this is one reason why African countries are going down. Even here in Zambia, Mr. Mpondera, there are people with money who manage to twist the entire secretariat. Here is a person who has got brilliant ideas. You find the nomination, he passes here, there, pan-national level. Konso kunapita, just here. Mwaisa mfatina basara candidate wauko. And you say, what is happening? In all political parties in Zambia, in the world, now it's money, who you know, who sits where. I don't think a nation should operate like this. And this is where the pain is. Because one more year delayed will hinder the development of this nation. If you can change the ideas. You know Senator Rubio in the States, this famous Rubio.
From Florida?
Yeah, his young brother. We chat every other week. He calls me, he watches what cabinet is doing and wondering, why is it with so much vast land, Zambia, we are not doing what we are doing? We are not rich, we are not progressing.
You know the economic indicators, rich as we are. We've talked about the economy from the economic side of things, the management of our mineral resources. We've mismanaged them. The management of our water bodies, we've also not managed them well. The conference you are calling, that conference you are calling for the agricultural, you know, again there, we talk about a lot of land, and we again there, we've done a lot of things which are wrong there. You know, extension services, we have them. Those were created by government to facilitate agricultural development in you know, those areas where people like to really deal with land. The southern province, as you know, is one critical area there, the Mukushi. You go and see the people that are there. You and I are not there in the Mukushi block. If we are there, we have to die quickly because we borrowed heavily. And we can't continue to be good farmers. There was a brother of ours who became a big Chimusolo. What's it in the Kapiling portion there?
Yeah, in Mukushi.
Yeah. So Chilala. Is still there? With the same?
I sure think so.
Okay, so at the same level.
And they're very successful.
Yeah, so I think that we one of the problems that we have, even as we talk about the potential, we have difficulties in exploiting the potential, and sometimes even as we go and look for the money to exploit the potential, we still make mistakes. Let me just give an example. The COVID-19 comes. I'll give my friend Salasini, so that and there's another young lady called Chiwonje in Eastern Province, she's Mamlam. So the government releases 10 billion. 10 billion stimulus package. We don't even know who we want to give. First of all, it stays at central bank for several months. It's not being, but government has made a decision. The technocrats keep that money. It is released to the banks. The banks apply their commercial lending procedures and rates. It started this small as money that is going to stimulate. It grows, it becomes commercial. And then Chiwonje in Katete cannot access that money because she doesn't know how to fill in the forms. Then Mr. Smith in Mukushi block knows how to fill in the form, and they know each other with the bank people there. And so who borrows the money is Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith. This money was meant for Salasini, my friend who has built Matanga village there. He can't access the same money. But he has built that from his own money up to certain levels, assisted, of course, by Invest Trust Bank. But we see him as it's not viable. So who is viable? Who is borrowing this money? This money, he employs about 30 people there. Isn't he an employer? So who is getting that money if he can't get him? Because we can see, I'm referring to this because it's right there and everybody sees. He can't access this COVID stimulant, that's 10 billion. And how many Salasins are there in the economy? So many of them will die. We will die during this period. And who will be alive? Are those friends of the friends in the banks. Because we are servicing the bigger ones and are not servicing the smaller ones. So how can we grow agriculture there? How can we develop the entrepreneurs that are building themselves up like Matanga village? How can we build Chiwonje in Katete? We have challenges. Unless we format our mindset and begin to value what we have and the people we have and how we deliberately decide to activate development, agricultural development, it shall not happen unless we remove that selfishness that seems to have clouded us and blinded us to the value of having more people doing well so that the economy can be supported by higher productivity. I always give an analog of you have a big country, but it's held by one pillar. 95% feeding the 95%. That's a mining sector. And the Zambian economy is like this. This 5%, all the money that it creates, it keeps outside there. It doesn't come here and continue to have our exchange rate inflated. The 95% is relying on this 5%, but it's not coming. So, and then those people, part of 95% who want to start doing their own little things, cannot be supported deliberately by the government through the lending, policies that are created. How are we going to develop? How are we going to make it? How are we going to develop agriculture, for instance, if that money that has come from FDB for fish farming, it has come from African Development Bank. It has been given to our own DBZ here and to commercial banks. If that money cannot come to you, my elder brother, and our young people here, who is it going to? Who is accessing it? And that's where another problem is. So those who have released that money from the Ministry of Finance, how do we monitor the efficacy or the effectiveness that that money goes to do in our communities? When we lose authenticity, as I said at the beginning, when we lose the concern for the other, when we are not a brother's keeper, even at a commercial level, things begin to go wrong. My friend Salasini, when he was standing in Senga here, he continued to tell me, I'm going there to activate widespread economic activity for all. Then I said, I'm going to do it. He said, there are minerals. There's agriculture. He keeps on saying like that. Then I challenge him. But money, how are you going to do it? We have lost the way we want to develop ourselves, including agriculture, by assisting only those who are doing well to continue doing well.
Mr. Mpondera, sorry to stop you. I always tell the people this story. When my wife and I, together with the leadership of the church, went to one bank, I won't mention, we said, give us the money. We are able to build this church. Story short, we were given 450 million at that time, which is 450,000 kwacha now, rebased. Mr. Mpondela, the Bible says without a vision, people perish. I took that money, bought the material, everything, because keeping it in the bank, it won't do me any good. It was another story. I appeared in court 3 times for not paying the, what do you call those, interest rates?
Yes.
I appeared in court here with my lawyer that I have failed to pay, to redeem the loan. This is a Zambian company. Now, the most interesting part of it is that during the time I was appearing in court, this same bank gave a Mkushi Muzungu 20 million kwacha, who just bought, this story is in public domain. He just bought a few second-hand tractors, externalized the money. By the time they went to check on him, the guy was out of this country.
But
he became a millionaire here in Zambia.
That's what we are.
I borrow 450,000.
Yes.
I am appearing in court.
Yes.
And I even assured the directors in one of the meetings, I said, you know, one day I'll sit on TV. I don't want to mention this bank. I don't want to mention your names. How do you crucify your own Zambian who is bringing good to this nation? I've nowhere to run to. Why don't you get, no, Pastor, this, but the white man runs away with $20 million. I'm appearing in court.
Yeah.
And this thing, it's too painful.
It's painful. I see my dear friend there. When I was running Swilanji Gardens, we were given some money. Maybe the conditions were a little bit different. When I see my dear friend here and the effort he's making, and how banks just bypass him, and what he has done to show the banks it can be done, even under difficult conditions it can be done. When I see this kind of thing that you're telling us here, when I was talking about fish farming, the money has come. Sometimes we give wrongly because we don't prepare people. Sometimes the fault of the people that are lending. Be prepared. Are you preparing to lend so that you can help? Or are you preparing to lend so that you can come and take all my assets? What is the purpose of your lending?
That's
me?
right.
Are you lending me in order to come to Salasini, my friend? I'll keep giving. That's the only one who will not take me to court. Are you lending me in order to come and take over my assets? Or are you lending me to escort me to do greater good for the development of my country? Pastor, in China, my second country, you remember I told you I'm vice president of the Zambia-China Business and Friendship Association. I've been there several times. China has got banks for everything. They've got banks for, you know, entrepreneur, banks for construction, banks for small-scale agriculture, banks for everybody. And they have trained the people there to train the people they lend, because they have a vision to transform China. If you go to Dubai, it's the same. If you go to Singapore, it's the same. If you go to Malaysia, it's those countries that are doing, the tiger countries, they are deliberate about what they do. The people who lend do not just go to give so that they can buy beautiful cars and whatever. They go to lend with an intention of assisting. The government has created a mechanism that does not fail along the way. Because even when I give you money as government, is an ACO, you are accountable to the money that are given to you. They must be like Jesus came, he sent his people and said, go and get the fruits from that land. Is that correct? Go and get some fruits from that vineyard. I want you. The government must hold those people they give accountable. Do we hold them accountable? Or we go to friendship? And this is another problem. Here, because we're living in this economy, because you are my friend, so even if I'm making a mistake, then it's okay. The government part here does not hold this one accountable. Who have you reported to on how you utilize the money? In China, if you're a bank for construction, you have to account for how that money has been used. So what is accountability between the lender and the borrower? In this case, it's not you, the borrower. It's the government through its agency that they have appointed. Is there accountability here? Does the government want to know exactly what happened? This feasible. If you look at the deals weekly yet in order to make government look bad, So the question to government, when you inspect all these systems you have in the ministries and monitoring, what is it that goes wrong there? When Magufuli tried to clean up certain people and inject up the systems, he just went and started attacking systems. We need to flush out colludes that have, come into systems. Sometimes government is doing the great thing, but the agencies are not doing the right thing. But who is doing the wrong thing is government, because who have you put there to monitor? If you go at every monitoring and evaluation, what do you monitor and evaluate? Because we don't hear, all we hear is to wait for something to go wrong in finance and the Auditor General reports, then we as a country, we are happy. No, it is done. It has happened. We want in the process to be clean, the process to be accountable, the systems to be accountable.
And also, Mr. Mponda, sorry to say this, you see, I bring 4 cameras for Camnet TV. I'll pay through the nose to ZRI. I'll pay through the nose. Here are some of the people who will bring in trucks and containers of things, and those trucks are just passing. Now, what people forget, the whole system you are talking about, is that, like you say in economics, everyone is connected to everything.
Yeah, everything is connected to everything else.
If your trucks go through without paying a duty, somebody will report to somebody, somebody will know, and the citizen will know, Mr. Mpondera's trucks have come through without paying.
Yes.
But here's a pastor with 4 cameras, he pays heavily.
Yes.
And sometimes the ZRI officers, they think they are untouchable, they think these things don't filter there. You are destroying the economy. And I'm thinking to myself, when are we going to have national issues at heart? To say it's not about me, it's not about my friend Mr. Mpondera. I think let me do this for the nation.
Yeah.
When are we going to have that?
Dr. Msongole, when you spoke to him here, he was talking about ownership.
Ownership, that's right.
This ownership thing, it starts at individual level. At institutional level, you only take what you've done there. Can I give my own example? I can give. When you gave me Phoenix, they said Mpondera owns Phoenix, he owns shares there. I didn't own no share there. When you gave me Duli Motors, Mpondera had some shares there. When I got ZAR, the cry is ZAR, it transformed, put intercompany living. When you gave me National Housing Authority, this sense of ownership, dear friends, brothers and sisters, we need to recapture it. When I say we need to reclaim authenticity, Bumuntu, Ubuntu, Fidalesa Tupanga, responsible, brother's keeper. When we retain that and reclaim authenticity, we will begin to do things with love. And because love changes everything, our actions will not be influenced by what I get for myself. Is what good for all. When we begin to go, so this transformation is not at on the leadership level, it's all ourselves, but we need to create it. You know, in Dubai, in my country, Dubai, they have the Ministry of Happiness. You know that? They have a Ministry of Happiness.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because they believe that unless people are happy, no development can ever take place. So they introduced a ministry, and they have ideologies around it. There is a ministry, there's a Minister of Happiness there. Unless people are happy, they cannot work. Unless people feel cared for by the system, they cannot produce. The Chinese people we complain about, these people are united in a certain way that is so intricate. Discipline is part of their culture. They are disciplined, those people. They follow rules. But also the state does come back to them and offer whatever they can offer to them. Now here when we see them, we look at them like, no. You know, we have a lot of things against them, but there is a lot to learn about their levels of discipline. So dear colleagues, Zambians in diaspora and Zambians sitting here, the transformation of this country is owed to us. We owe it to this country.
Absolutely.
We cannot continue to fold our hands. You asked me a very good question. With all these dreams, where are you? We must find out a way. Me, Max, Joe, Martin Kalungubanda, we formed, invited Mebo, Friday Njovu, Dr. We formed the Partnership Forum. When we realized the privatization was taking everything, we formed the Partnership Forum to get the NGOs, government, as it was demobilizing from business or business, and the private sector to work together to create energy. If you go to Mr. Bota at ShopRite, in Luangeni example, and those people in Luangeni, if they are listening, they'll see what we transformed. You ask me a question, do you try in your own ways? Yes, we do. But we call for government. If we can't get other people from abroad to give us money, nothing can happen. So I think that we owe it to ourselves. If truly we are the Lord and masters of our thoughts, and our thoughts make reality, then I think it's time we started to restructure. It's time we say what Marx said here, critical thinking. Critical thinking. Maybe systems thinking as well. That because we're educated, it means we can use a bit of those things that we learn in structured thinking that must enable us to begin to behave differently. And this, conduct ourselves
this critical thinking and ownership has nothing to do with the grade 12 certificate. It must be from the heart.
Absolutely.
It must be.
It must be.
I normally say, Mr. Mponde, when I'm preaching, that poverty is in the mind.
It is in here.
Because God has given us all these things.
Absolutely. When
we began this Kamne TV with my wife and team, the church, I said we must create a media that one day will compete with Al Jazeera, with BBC.
And you're coming through.
We are trying.
You told me that they are watching us in West Indies.
Right now.
I'll start receiving a lot of messages on my phone.
They are everywhere.
So,
you know.
So,
but
it's in the mind.
It's in the mind. When we started, we had nothing. Absolutely nothing. Even now, like you are saying, I wish I could know which ministry we can go to as media to say, give me $1 million kwacha. Let me be able to transform this. But you have no idea. You're just working.
There is for even as agriculture, when information is available to the people, let it be available authentically. Let it be available because it's intentionally designed to be available to those that must consume that information. It's the same when I was talking about agriculture. You see, for instance, if you go to Kenya, if you have 20 trees of avocado in Kenya, government facilitates that you must export. They know where you are. Statistics are provided because the statistics office is at work. And the government also makes it, the ministry that deals with agriculture is. So when we deny people information, and yet we want them to do something different.
And when you come, Mr. Mpondela, to this conference, this is why somebody said, Pastor Chua, those speakers you are bringing, they are not even farmers or what. For the first time, Zambia will hear the truth about the statistics you're talking about.
Yes.
From Professor Musongo.
Yes.
When he's talking like this, you say, no, no, no. Is this Zambia? He says, Pastor, this is Zambia. And you cannot win the enemy you do not know. You know,
Absolutely.
Every one of us, we are just saying, grow avocado, grow this, grow, with no statistics
So if we have no intentionality in the things we do, if there's no outcome that is already projected in businesses, keep KPIs, key performance indicators, we use those things. If we don't project what we are looking for and make information available at national level to our people in a manner that is loving, I know business is a little difficult, but what are you looking for? Whose agricultural activity do you want to activate? Is it the Mkushi? If it's a Mkushi, then they can easily understand. They can even speak to each other on the phone with the bankers. But if it's Chiwonje, if it's my brother Andrew somewhere in Mungule,
and
then
my chiefs there.
And those chiefs there, and our friends in Eastern Province, you know, us in Northern Province, at least we are a little faster in grasping information
than the Easterners.
Than the Easterners, you know, those people. So if you can't really provide information in a manner that is acceptable, that is clear, then you are transmitting poor clarity, and the result will be unclear as well because you started it. So this is why, Pastor, all countries that are succeeding, they have think tanks, not think tanks by word. And those of us young people are recruited to do thinking. Please, let's stop betraying those that appoint us. Let's because we also betray. But those who are appointing us, why do you allow us to betray you? You see, so we didn't have to change mindset. And leaders may not change mindset, but these executive offices and these performance offices that they create help them to change the mindset. And so we must all pay attention. What is it that I'm not causing that is causing what is negative? What is it that I'm causing in order for me to get the country move forward differently? So each one of us has a responsibility to the transformation of our nation.
Mr. Mpondera, let's allow these people, I know this is very critical. Let's allow the people, the international community to call in. We'll provide the Zoom ID and the password. Please, Zambia is our country. And those of you who are politically corrupt in your mind, don't think anybody who comes to help the nation is after your position. No. The president is there. I like what you said. There can only be one president at a time. You cannot have 5 presidents. But we should come together as a nation. Like the people when they were building the Tower of Babel, they had one language. They spoke the same. And this, I believe with all my heart, Mr. Mpondera, that Camnet TV will contribute immensely to bringing this thing to table. Because I bleed inside. I look at you people who are economists, mwafiro kubalansa. Insamushi na Bank of Zambia, mwafiro kubalansa kwacha iyo ile kwenda fiama stairs. And you economists are here. And we are saying no. This agriculture, Mr. Mpondera, one expatriate said to me, what you are saying on Camnet TV, if only Zambia can pay attention to this, you'll be out of debt.
I agree.
One Egyptian, Professor Reda, he says, Pastor, Egypt did not begin with technology, to begin with agriculture. And agriculture is their foundation. Egypt today is solid. And in many countries, here in Zambia, we have more land, more water, more everything. But we are failing to utilize. Ushenga mwali memi nguba Mpondera na tomato kubackyard. Does that mean the country is developing?
No, absolutely not.
Anyway, let's allow my director to just give us the advert about the conference. Don't miss this conference. I keep on saying, you hear something that will blow your mind. I think let's graduate from petty talks and just being talkers. I want you to come and register, pay up. I want you to know that you are in for a good time. Go ahead, Mr. Director.
The much awaited for Camnet conference is now scheduled for May 2021 with your hosts, Pastors Victoria and Moses Chiluba.
We have believed that every Zambian was born for greatness and that you and I can contribute to the development of this nation.
The big questions to ask are, can Zambia develop through agriculture? Can we produce indigenous Zambian millionaires? Plan not to miss this national conference on empowering Zambians through agriculture knowledge. Dates, 28th to 29th May 2021. Time, 0730 hours to 1630 hours. Venue, the Healing Word Ministries International in Ibex Hill. Charges, 950 kwacha, lunch inclusive for both days. Payments through via mobile money on 0962 965 883 or 0979 753 010, or you can pay via Stanbic Bank account number 91 3000 1825 325. Speakers will be Professor Reda.
We need Zambia to be one of the best nations in Africa.
Professor Munkumba.
If you just listen to a lecture, you may remember hardly anything. In 2 weeks' time, it's all gone. If you read, you may remember 10% of what you've read. If you participate in a discussion, 50% retention of the knowledge. So I always tell people, knowledge is the only thing that when you share it, you don't lose it.
Professor Msongole.
Agriculture can actually solve our unemployment for our youth. Through exports, agricultural exports, we can also stabilize our foreign exchange.
Honorable Bob Chinga.
When you do a budget, you plan it so that all the sectors, especially those that will give you low-lying fruits, in other words, you can achieve a lot with it, are the first things you do first.
And biologist Kamweneshe.
If we came together and put our hands together and concentrate on the soil. The people in Kenya, these Swahili people say, Dongo ni mali, means soil, that's money.
Register your participation through Camnet lines. Camnet TV, not just another channel. Camnet TV is here to entertain, educate, and inform you. Catch Rise and Thrive at 0730 hours every Saturday. Fresh and new praise and worship comes Monday to Friday at 8 hours. Kids need to be glued to the TV every weekday at 09 hours for their favorite cartoons. Off the pitch with the boys as they talk about sport on Saturdays at 0930 hours.
Remember, we are also here to entertain you with our different varieties of movies every weekday at 10 hours. Join Pastor Victoria and Moses Chiluba with Healing Word Ministries International Church live sermon.
Our dear Camnet TV viewers, I know time is not with us, but I have Mr. Mpondela. If you didn't hear, his background, his rich background, he's an asset to this nation. And I believe that the things we are discussing here, we have discussed, will be able to help you. Mr. Mpondela, I know as an economist, we are converting you to agriculture. I have believed, this is me, I have believed that the land that we have, I can give you statistics because I'm sitting down with you people who deal with mathematics and statistics. Just over 15,000 hectares of land, Zambia can be able to get not less than $450 million in the coffers. 15,000 hectares of land.
Per year?
Of course. What is stopping us? The vast land that we have here. What is stopping us?
What is stopping us basically is the way we think. We spend more time talking, and we have a big ministry there.
Please open the lines, my director. People, let them feel free to call. And yes, Mr. Mpondela.
We have a big ministry, and we've obscured how people, we've not provided as much information as we can. Sometimes we say we do, but in what format? And how serious are we? And this is the same thing that I was talking about. If you are going to change there, you must go and know that you changed. And I know all these organizations, including the Ministry of Agriculture, they have the monitoring systems and all that. Are we monitoring? What it is that we expected, the outcome we anticipated to have? So, if our thinking is going to be the same way we've always done things, same of the sameness, can never change anything. Because I think government has put in a lot of money in agriculture. I know they have. But what is the outcome? We're still behind. One of the reasons is how many people are accessing that those privileges that they have. I was hearing about ASIP. Insurance has become so much more of an attraction than agricultural production itself. The insurance has become more important than the production itself, which means along the way, what becomes beneficial is self-interest, the money that can come to individuals. I don't know how we can go in the hearts of people and find out that Pastor Chiluba is committed to agriculture. Pondela is committed to this particular. I don't know how we can investigate, but I think systems do create people that perform. And I'm getting back to the same issue that I was saying.
Let's pick up this call, Mr. Mpondela. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Pastor Chiluba.
Good evening, sir.
This is Ruben calling from Wembe.
Ruben.
Calling from Wembe.
Please go ahead and speak to the nation.
General Mpondela, I call you General. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you. I'm promoted.
From my current state, I'm living on. I think you you've been an inspiration. My contribution is on the point that you touched, the importance of leadership. I think we've allowed a lot of, in inverted commas, so it's on TV, what I may call mediocrity in leadership. We have settled for whatever a person wakes up and says, I'm a leader. With him as a country, we can easily settle for that person. And I'm not really asking you the question, what is it that you want to drive at school? So I think until we define who should lead us, we will always be meandering around development in this country. I'll lead you to Gwembe. If you come to Gwembe, the Gwembe district has the longest border of the Kariba. I think 120 kilometers of the Kariba is on Gwembe district. But come and see the poverty that the people of Gwembe are subjected to. They cannot even transform their lives out of the beautiful landscape the river creates on the frontage of the people. So, for me, the challenge for Gwembe is leadership. And apparently, our school system has not really helped to generate leaders that are going to foster national development. And for me, Pastor Chiluba, your programming is good. But until you bring us these leaders who have failed us for a long time to recognize brains like Elias Impondera, I've been following him. I arrived in Uganda in 2005 and I've been following that man. He has single-handedly shown to some of us that no matter how you are secluded, you can still remain afloat in life if your thinking is correct. So, thank you for this programming, and I do endeavor at more of this programming. Who will be even televised on other media like ZNBC. The quality of programming that, to be honest, we have on ZNBC does not generate the enthusiasm to watch as you are. This I speak with my mind open. So thank you very much, sir. And General Impondera, continue pressing on the button. One day the door will open.
Thank you.
Matthew 7:7.
Thank you.
Not until the door will be open. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You have got followers around the country.
Well, it's always nice to know that because the leader must inspire, even those that you don't see, but your actions touch them. And for me, that's my strongest belief. My own personal philosophy is to enable others to do great work. And enabling is not only because TV must be with you. Your action from the heart.
Can I ask
those who come nearer.
Can I ask one question? Soon, Parliament will convene. The President will be in place. The President will be in place, appoint cabinet, and what? If cabinet, whoever will be there, does not lead us in the direction where we should go, like in the agriculture sector, in the technology sector, in the what happens? Because there are certain things, Mr. Impondera, I don't know whether it's me. The country is further sinking, where you find the traffic officers, 17 of them are just hanging around the robots, so that when you turn wrongly, they say stop. Is that the job you go to rely, to just train and stand by the robots? So there are a lot of things that I think, even if I've never been to Lirai, this is not what they trained for. This is me, you know. So what do we do? Because this is our nation. I speak passionately because I'm a Zambian, and I want to be proud when people come, they find that Zambia is in like this.
I think for me, I can give my own example. I think that you told me I'm on several boards. But even there, I talked about the changes that we did with Mr. Salasina at ZNBC. The results are there to see. Phoenix contractors, the results are there to see. We are doing Pulungu now, and thanks to the authorities, they say you come from there. Go back there and see that the port is upgraded. I go there and I own the port. This ownership thing is not ownership for me to benefit as me. I own this as a steward for the people. And I think that it all comes from your mindset. If I look at athletics, you know now we are qualifying our people within here. Mr. Douglas Kalembo was in the US for some time. He came back here and said, let's work together. We are now producing great things right here. One of the problems that we have is to have people not even minding the good results that are being created in the economy, but only the good results that are being created in the political scenario. Even honoring people, the people that are honored are those who have inclination to something that is political, and not these who are thinking wisely to change things and transform things. When we don't have, we start honoring those who are doing great work. We are not enabling them. We are disenabling them. And therefore they cannot inspire, transmit that inspiration my brother has just talked about. Now, my prayer is that can we have 20, 100 people in Zambia that are self-inspired to drive their agendas with courage? Because one of the biggest impediments here is really to be here and state the truth. I should not state the truth because the truth will put me in trouble. And therefore, my loss of authenticity in being myself and bringing out those ideas, some may injure people. I like Mr. Siame. He said, young man, tell me, don't hide in Mutende. Just say it. Sir, will you not chase me? So say it the way you want to say it. He allowed me to speak. And he trained me that I think unless you begin to think beyond those little small things, you develop your mind to innovation. And I think that if we trap people's minds, we are trapping development. You said it yourself, Pastor, here, that delayed development, it delayed quality of results, quality of life results of the people. And development. And development of the people. And this is what we seem to cherish, is to delay by getting people that are not ready. Remember I said success favors the prepared mind. You just must have prepared the mind in order for this ownership and execution to be combined in such a way that where it goes, it produces good results. And I think as we try to navigate our country, let's do certain things differently. Let's create all these monitoring teams that are composed of people that are highly experienced and they have experience and highly experienced and also technically sound and committed, but also accountable to those that appoint them. Because we appoint friends and we stop there. I am boasting about where I am at, Pulungu Harbor. We are all committed. We are about 6 board members, great people. We appoint another 15 great people. We report to IDC. They are monitoring us every quarter. They call us. You said in Pondela here that you do. IDC calls us there every quarter, so we are scared. Can't we have this kind of monitoring in the government as well? Because IDC is government. We need to begin to demand results from those that we are given a responsibility to do certain things. NGOs, these, USAID, and you find them, they are busy on the computers because they have to report. Can we get more people that are responsible for public good to be as accountable, probably as NGOs?
Mr. Director, please give us the Zoom ID and the password so that people can call also through Zoom. There is the Zoom ID and the password. Those of you that can, wherever you can, please do call us, people in the diaspora. You know what, Mr. Mpondela? I think, for me, the incoming parliamentarians, both from the ruling and the opposition, should be monitored. It's high time the people of Zambia started speaking, because you cannot take the people of Zambia for a ride. You go there in parliament just saying here, here, here. Your contributions are not national. They are just family, and they are tribal, and they are regional. They are what? I don't think we should go beyond that.
And you are making no difference at all.
Yeah,
because
we should
it's
go
the same
beyond
of the
that.
sameness. Because if that is what motivates us in leadership, we are not going to make changes. Leaders are active, are serious, they are busy, thinking innovatively. You know, there's this buzzword which has come, which is called the VUCA. You know, when the world becomes volatile, which is V, and the world becomes U, is uncertain, and the world becomes complex or chaotic, which is C, and then A, the world becomes very ambiguous. So you have some sort of ambiguity in the economy. You need the VUCA response. The VUCA response, V, you need vision. So you need visionary leaders. The U, you need to understand, you need understanding. The C, you need clarity of thought. You need sharpness and clarity. The A, which is the VUCA response, I like this one. You need adaptability. You need to respond in such a way that you are not stuck in the volatility that has occurred around you. You always must find a way of getting out of there in order to make a difference. The reason why we are chosen as leaders is to show the way, is to create new directions, is to create new dimensions. And so we cannot be leaders that cry when our people are looking for us to lead them. And this is why I'm saying, if you, like me, Mpondela, I am not adequate, I must look in teams, people that are adequate. There is in Mpumalanga Harbour some young men who are totally out of this world. And when you see them thinking, you say, look, I need this young man called Nkrumah to be around me. I must do something different. You look good when something good is being thought about by people that have different intellectual endowment. They have different persuasion of knowledge. It's this intentionality in the decision we make and how we monitor what we want to see done. It's that sense of purpose, the ownership of what outcome must be, that makes me different. And so it is up to me also to become the difference that makes the difference. Because when I'm given to go and do something, when I'm given Mpumalanga Harbour, I want first of all to become Mpumalanga Harbour. I become the difference that must go, make a difference. When I accept to be in charge of children, as chairman of SOS, and I must accept the vision of SOS Zambia, is to safeguard the interest of the children and ensure that their living standards in the villages are okay, and the communities and family strengthening that we are doing with is doing well. When they give me TMS medical services there, then I know COVID. I know there are people that must be treated. The first thing that comes to my mind as a chairman of that hospital is care. I need to save life. So it's these things that we as individuals, please, my dear brothers and sisters, transformation first takes place at individual level. I must transform myself. I must acquire those traits that support, that support effective performance. I must commit myself to the purpose which I said yes. So I must be married to the purpose and the mission that I said yes to. Don't say yes to something you cannot do. Don't go there. And for our leaders, please, know that what has disappointed you are the ones, those of us that you appoint in certain positions that we are not ready for, because success favors the prepared mind. Full stop. It can't be. There's no accident in anything. There's in growth. You can't grow the economy by accident. You can't say you're going to change Mpumalanga Harbour by accident. You can't say you are going to change TMS hospital or you're going to change SOS through dreaming. You can't dream. If you are dreaming it, You have to have critical priority areas that are identified, dissect them in the way you apply them. Apply performance indicators around them so that you are measuring. We fear measuring. No, we should be measuring. We shouldn't be scared of measuring. So I would like to believe that if Zambia has to really get out of this dungeon or the contagion of the poverty levels, we need to change the way we lead.
Our mindset.
We need to change our mindset, not even the way we lead. We need to begin, as you stated, that Jesus did not only attract those who came from one family. He went around the lake. He went on the land and he created. And when he saw the 12, the way they were working, he looked for another 72. And he said, I'm sending you with a sole purpose. Go and transform and make disciples of many. And they started coming to report. And they were going 2 by 2 in order to, if somebody gets sick, the other one. The country must be run like that. The government has put systems in place. Where are the monitoring systems? Where is the honesty in those systems? How are we auditing those systems? Should we continue to announce the Auditor General? Is that what cheers the country? The money would have gone, or the misconduct would have been practiced. Are those the outcomes, the performance indicators that we are waiting for? No. People like to see agricultural activation, that more people begin to produce, so that more is exported, so that the 5% that is copper can have another 5% from agriculture. That even within the COVID environment, the VUCA response to the tourism, we must begin to think differently and deeply, so that we have more production in the economy, and then we can have more foreign exchange coming, and therefore we begin to have influence on the exchange rate, because the strength of an economy is reflected in its exchange rate.
Oh, let's get some text messages, Mr. Director. Put one after another if there is. My great pastor, keep on bringing these great men. One day Zambia will have economic freedom. We need critical thinking in this country. This is Chimwanga from Livingstone. Give us one after another, Mr. Director. And those of you that are calling, please keep on calling, and let's discuss together the affairs of this nation. Is there another text, or we are stuck on one? Let's talk about agriculture, Mr. Mpondera. That's my heart. You remember just after this airport roundabout going to Chongwe, just after the roadblock, there was this flower company on the left.
Yeah, the
Agriflora.
Agriflora.
Do you know that I was so shocked the amount of millions of dollars that we are being made from that small farm? Millions of dollars. Millions of dollars being exported into Europe. When the owner, after he made enough money and everything, left it, today I don't know what is grown there. It's just weed. Now imagine, Mr. Mpondera, if we have 500 hectares of land to produce those flowers. Because right now, Kenya, Uganda, they are thriving through agriculture. Are you aware about that?
Yes. That's why I gave an example of 20, in Kenya, if you have 20 trees of avocado, you are assisted. The government is aware about you, because that's an exportable commodity. And here the Agriflora, if you go in Charleston there, those land, they are now houses. We know all the land that we have, it must be housing. So I don't know who is going to be producing, because, and you see, again, this comes back to government policy. Well, now, shouldn't there be some land that is designed, designated like our our forefathers, the Kaundas and the Friends, the land they demarcated this. We are the causing this global warming within the country. We cut all the trees in order to create. If you go to Mikango, some land like that were created and deliberately left trees to grow and protect the environment. But what have we done? We have, and then all the water tables, they are all drying up, and all the fallows and springs, they're all going down. This is because we don't care. What we care for now is to sell land. You see how we are? And Zambia, this is the way we are. We must sell land. Agriculture has become subordinate to housing, and yet those millions that AgriFlora was doing. This is where we are going. This is why I'm saying, surely, do we care? Because us voters, we put we surrender, we subjugate our authority to the government that appoints people. So, how accountable are these people? To whom are they accountable? This is why I'm insisting. Is the auditing only auditing at the level of Auditor General going to look at the figures? Or auditing is auditing the systems? And even if something is found wrong, do we care? Are we intentional about this terrible action that people, I don't believe in taking people to court. You're taking them to court, so what? They found them and they didn't take them to court. No, we need to make corrective measures that will deterring people from doing certain things. When you go the following year, you find it's the same thing. But again, it means there's something wrong there.
If you don't take some to the court, because the Bible says the law is made for the lawless. Once Mr. Mpondera is imprisoned for 17 years, somebody will say, I will never be managing director of National Housing, if Mr. Mpondera can be arrested. Some people must be given as an example.
Yeah, no, I'm not even denying. I'm just very concerned about waiting until it happens. Then you arrest. No. Then you write in the media. So when you report Mpondera arrested for stealing, is it of economic value to anyone? Okay, so I'm saying, can we spend more time then ensuring that the systems are less corroded with things that can corrupt them in order not to produce what is intended? Can we be more intentional in the way we monitor the things we given to? Can our ownership of things that are given to us on behalf of the Zambian people become part of our lifestyle that I'm given? That's why some of us, even small things that are given to us, we relish them. And if true we are Christian nation, then that commitment to the value of the thing that we're given must even be more enhanced. Our actions must be regulated by the fact that I am the brother's keeper. I'm not the brother's keeper. Where is Abel, Ken? I don't know where he is. I'm not. No. We want to say, where is Abel? Where are the people in Siangombo? They are all doing well. My brother Ngwembe, the poverty levels he talked about.
Reuben.
Reuben. Those are the things that must, and government has deployed the people in all those areas. But these people are not working. So when we say government, also we have to be careful. But it comes back to government itself. You appointed them. Did you monitor them? Did they fulfill? So I think unless we begin to go to another level of arresting the minds of these people that deliberately do not make things happen. My coach Kalembo, my general secretary, Mungambata, when I say, guys, this is what I want done, I follow it up. Over the weekend, we're having events to qualify other 6 countries. I was there. So Kalembo knows, Sydney knows, all my coaches there know. My general said that the president is here. We are not saying our president can go to these small things, but we are saying that those that the president appoints to superintend over certain things, so show seriousness. Ownership must start with you. Then it will be transmitted. Then if we all become acquainted to ownership, if governance becomes the hallmark of our mindset, we will begin to do things differently. And it can. But we need to identify people that can champion this kind of critical thinking, this kind of thinking, this mindset. And we are all there. If we just advertise and say, guys, those who want to do things differently for Zambia, those who are come, they will come. Even from abroad, they will come. But we want to ask people who, first of all, are not committed, people who do not think ownership of the things they are assigned to do is important. They are the same ones we appoint to go and do critical things. It can't happen. The same people that are the cause of damage or who are a cause of poor performance cannot be the same people that can be used for activation and improve the performance. It just can't happen.
It's like taking a sick horse to compete with a healthy. I think sometimes for the people of Zambia to see how passionate I am, I'm also coming for trials. You try me to run 100 meters.
I'll be too glad. They will now all become interested. Yeah, you lead by example.
Mr. Mpondela, I can only thank you because for your time and from your busy schedule, you come. I'm really very passionate about this country. I'm passionate. When I say I'm passionate, I don't know what to do, how we can move as a nation. So I move as a troubled man.
Yes, I
move as a troubled man to see that we have potential, and we are just wasting the potential.
There is that song that said, one day at a time. At Jesus, when you've gone up there, when you look down here, it's now worse than before. Stealing and cheating has now increased.
Corruption.
Corruption and everything. That's that song. One day at a time, sweet Jesus. I love it. It's worse than ever before. But I think if you asked me, you are closing, isn't it?
Yes, I'm
If you asked me that what should be my prayer now that elections are coming, what is my message to President Lungu, President Hakainde, and all the presidents that we know? When Jesus was finishing his discourse, when he was leaving, there are things that he said. He said, Father, I thank you that among those you gave me, I've lost none. They are all there.
Except the son of perdition.
Exactly. But then he said, may they be one,
even as
you and me are one. I think this is the message to you, leaders of this country. May you be one. Unity does not mean you must all be the same, but may you be one in purpose and mission. And in this particular case, we are not asking you to be the same of the sameness. No. But there's unity, there's strength in unity. And I think as elections are coming, I think since this country is endowed with a lot of resources, give us this oneness of intention and purpose and mission. Show us truly, even if you are different in political persuasions, but have one heart and mind, that those prayers that we see you gathering at the Cathedral of the Holy Cross may begin to yield. It's real that unless we see you united, it may be difficult for us to be united as your followers. Show us the way. Let's unite. And since we are a Christian nation, maybe we be one, just as the one we follow, Jesus Christ, is one with the Father. So that we can activate this country differently and avoid anything that may continue to make us look like we are not children of God when we are. So I wish all of them blessings and that may the interest of the nation, agriculture become the hallmark, activation of the economy, concern for the brother, be what must unite us other than the political differences that separate us.
Thank you so much. Well, we can only cover so much, on behalf of my wife, Pastor Victoria Chiluba, on behalf of the leadership of the Healing Word Ministries, and indeed on behalf of the Camnet TV crew that you do not see, I am grateful to the Lord that this nation was born for greatness, and we want you to come for the conference. Let every Zambian who has Zambia at heart, and you believe that you can be part of the transformation that Mr. Mpondela is talking about, that Professor Musongole talked about, ownership of the country, please come for this conference. May the Lord God Almighty bless the leadership of this nation politically. May He bless those who assist the President. May He bless everyone, and may He bless all the opposition, that we be one, as Mr. Mpondela said. We are from the same blood. May God bless you. Keep watching Camnet TV, and remember, Camnet TV is not just another channel. You will be with Frank on Camnet tomorrow, 2030. Make a date. Bye-bye.